Hi everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel called Honor the Mission, Honor Your Mission. And it's all about finishing strong after the age of 50. We have fun, we talk about a lot of options, we talk a lot about freedom and how to get a new mindset when the seasons change, obviously for more senior people over 50. So it's a favorite topic of mine. That's why we've built this channel. When I was 54, I started again in life, and I can just lead you where I've been and show you how I did it and how things worked out for me. Welcome to this episode. We're talking about principles 7, 8, and 9. It's about fitness. It's about exercise, a little bit we touch on diet. And we're just going to discuss some things that we learned along the way. We did lots of research over the years. So all about finishing strong after 50. There are three main things we're going to cover on this YouTube channel that we discuss. Number one is how to take authority over your circumstances and setbacks. By the time you get past 50, you've definitely had a few setbacks. You've won a few things. You've lost a few things. And how to not let it hold you back. So how to take authority over your circumstances. Number two, how to rise above average in a negative world. In other words, kick butt and take some names, because average, who wants to go there? But the world pulls us there, and none of us want to be average. John Maxwell talks a lot about it in his leadership books, and we have to rise above. Therefore, we have to push a bit harder. We have to do something different. And then how to renew your mindset and start this new season with purpose. I speak to a lot of guys in my age group, my cohort, and some of them are frustrated, some of them are fearful, others are excited. And I think it is a mindset. There has to be something we can do as we get older to give us more purpose. We're starting with experience and wisdom and insights, and we have knowledge by this time. So it is about hope, and it is about moving forward. And I think I heard a very smart businessman the other day in one of our groups, entrepreneur groups, and he said, it's not about why. Now, we all know about the why. He said it's about who are you? Like, who are you? Your identity. Where's your identity? And I think that is quite a good question. It's like, who are you? What do you do? It's not like when you do certain things, you say, but this is who I am. This is my identity. This is why I do these things. And I think it just changes your mindset a little bit. So let's talk about getting fit, and this is why I say it's principle 7, 8, and 9. And I think we found 10 steps that we're going to just go through quickly to give you some motivation, some insight, just something about fitness. It's very close to my heart, being healthy. I think most of my inner circle know that my wife died earlier on this year. She had a 2-year battle with cancer. And we did a lot of research, we read a lot of books, we did a lot of just reading and research on eating healthy and how this whole thing happened. And I think we really learned, we got a lot of insights and we learned a lot about it. And obviously you need to consult your physician. You know, we've just done research as laymen to see what happened to some of our friends and colleagues that have died, and especially my wife. We'll talk about that another time, how to get through grief, not here, but it's so important. It is life and death. Your food becomes your medicine, or it can be your poison. And one thing I'd just like to make a difference out there to all our listeners is, we all know what we should eat. This is not a new topic. Like, whoa, we didn't know that. We know that. But it's like, you've got to find that reason, and you've got to look for the indicators, and you've got to start understanding how important it is what we buy, not what if it's in the kitchen, you'll eat it. So it's so important that and I struggle with this all the time. Diet is a problem. Sometimes we don't eat enough. Sometimes we eat the wrong foods, and I've seen the difference it can make on your health. Just one thing before we start, and this is I've got from many doctors and gurus, but obviously I'm not giving medical advice. Cancer doesn't like an alkaline environment. It likes an acidic environment. Think about that. It's like drinking lemon juice is acidic, but it turns to alkaline. Cancer doesn't like oxygen. When you oxygenate, like check your oxygen levels. It doesn't like that, because oxygen is blood flow and it's life. And then obviously movement, blood flow, muscle mass. The stronger you are, the better. And you've got to really fight for your muscle mass as you get older, because you're fighting against the laws of gravity. You're going to lose muscle mass. It's just the way it is. Someone was saying 1% a year, which is a lot. By the time you get to 60 or 70, that's a lot of muscle mass you would have lost. And obviously there's medical issues, which we'll touch on, to check where your medical markers are on your blood work. But here's 10 tips to get fit and healthy. Now, and we'll talk about sports another time. I've been involved in a lot of different sports, and it's really helped me. And we'll talk about that. And I've got my humble opinion on what older men can do to stay fit and healthy. And I think you've got to look at yourself as how to become not just average. Like a guy said to me the other day, I'm training 3 times a week. It's quite good. And I said, it's not actually that good. Maybe when you're younger, as you get older, you've got to train more. You've got to do maybe 4 to 5, sometimes 6 times a week when you get older. Because 2 or 3 times a week is not going to hack it. It's just not enough. So it's quite interesting, the research and what we've done, and especially on an aging athlete or an aging person. If you're sedentary, if you're not eating right, if you're a smoker, if you drink too much, alcohol is another poison that you're putting in your body. Now, a lot of us know it, but we don't realize the gravity of it until someone dies or until you have a health problem. So I'm just trying to help everybody here to be cognizant of the buying patterns. And I mean, obviously, one thing that came out right from the start, and doctors don't tell you this, they don't study nutrition, they just look at the symptoms and treat the sickness. They don't look at health, unfortunately. And that we've seen. Shocking. But anyway, that's the way it is. And the one thing that's been prevalent throughout all the research is sugar is killing you. Okay? When I did this research, I used to have sugar in my coffee. Simple things. We're starting about basics here. I just stopped having sugar. Maybe a bit of honey, a little bit. But sugar is a massive no-no. Soda drinks, sugar, anything with too much fructose or sugar in it. Just cut it. Alcohol in the week, cut it. And I'm sure a lot of you don't want to hear that because it's a lifestyle. We have a lifestyle. We braai, we have a drink. And I'm not saying you can't do that on a weekend. But believe me when I say sugar is our enemy. So anyway, let's get on with the 10 tips for the day. That's why we're here. 10 tips. And now tip number 1, incorporate regular exercise. What I was saying now, regular. What I did is I built a framework, or I built a routine for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What part of the body? What are you going to train? What do you do every day? Like squats every day, push-ups every day, back raises, stomach exercises. We're not going to go into a routine now, but build a routine that you know. By this stage, you know what works for you, and build a strength routine that you can start getting your muscles strong, especially your legs, your thighs, your butt, your back, and your bench, your shoulders start going. And I've been getting a lot of shoulder injuries from various sports because the shoulder is a complicated mechanism. And I've seen so many people that have had shoulder operations, which is a horrible thing to have, and it takes a year to heal. So look after your shoulders, but how do you strengthen them? And there's a way to do that. So regular exercise, working on specific muscle groups, and do a pattern. Don't ever get bored with doing the same thing at gym, but build on it, work on it, get advice, study it, and start making the exercises interesting. So absolutely, don't say you're going to go for a walk every day. That's good. It's good. You're moving, you're getting muscle, you're moving your muscle, you're moving, getting oxygen, you're breathing. There's definitely benefits, but that's not enough. That's just like a small foundation of what you should be doing. So you have to do resistance training, which is gym. There's no getting away from it. So that's a routine, a regular routine, number 1. Number 2, focus on strength training. After 50, muscle mass naturally decreases. This is lots of research being put into this. So you've got to do that strength and resistance training not just once or twice a week. And remember, it impacts your bone density. Go and get things checked. Go and get your blood work checked, and check your bone density, check your muscle mass, check everything. Because the more you know, the more educated you can approach this whole thing about training. Eat a balanced diet. Obviously, we got to be careful that we don't eat too much of the wrong thing. But by this stage in life, we all know what we shouldn't do. Just make a list, a note in your mental note. Sugar? No, like I said. Protein? Yes. If you're going to do strength training, you need more protein. It's obvious, but we don't do it. Chicken, steak, protein, eggs. Go to eggs, stop cereal. Be careful of whey protein. Can be good, can be bad. I don't want to mention too much about that, but a balanced diet, whole foods, natural, vitamins, We don't eat enough vitamins in the food, so therefore have a vitamin regime. Supplements, look at the different supplementation. Creatine is very good. All the doctors are saying it's very good, even for your cognitive function. So I've been taking creatine every day. Hopefully I don't forget things. Stay hydrated. Obviously, I keep water with me all the time. Not tap water, buy the water, filter the water. Dehydration can give you headaches. It can really be a concern as you age. Herbal teas are good. Low sugar beverages. But keep your hydration up. If you really feel you're thirsty, drink water. What I do every single morning when I wake up, the first thing I do as I get up every morning, before I go to gym, I drink a glass of water. And I hear a lot of fitness people and gurus are talking about it, so there must be some merit to it. But drink a glass of water and then keep hydrated. If you're going to drink a lot of coffee, sometimes I drink too much coffee, have a glass of water before the coffee. And it definitely cleanses you out and helps you clean. Excuse me. Prioritize flexibility and mobility. One thing I realized from, say, 20, 30 years ago, I can't do the weights I used to do. It's like, how did this happen? But then 30 years later, you're not going to. So you've got to start building up that strength. But mobility and flexibility, I'm trying to keep it there. And my advice is to do stretching exercises. I got a mixed martial arts coach to show me some really good flexibility exercises. And it was amazing what these guys can do. In every part of your body needs to be flexible and mobile. And it just shows if you slip and fall, if you got better balance, if your mobility is decent. So I think don't just sit and do heavy weights, but your flexibility and mobility, the stretching, and have a routine as well with that. Definitely have a routine to improve posture, and also it will reduce injuries. I've been getting a lot of injuries. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a while now, and I've been getting a lot of injuries, so I'm trying to toughen up. But anyway, we'll talk about sports another time. And then monitor portion size. I think, like people say, oh, we all eat too much. And a lot of the advice is we eat too much and cut the amount of food, cut the portion size. But if you're doing heavy weights, then you've got to improve your protein intake. And some people measure it, and if you're that way inclined, that's great. I don't have headspace to go and measure it all, but definitely I know I'm not eating enough protein. And when you look at the scale and you start losing weight, whatever weight you should be, and look at your weight, and you start losing weight as you get older, then it means you're going to start shrinking. Your muscles are going to contract. So therefore, up the strength training. Don't just up the food without the training, but start doing more resistance training, but then have your creatine, have your vitamins and supplements, but eat more protein. And that's a struggle. It is quite a struggle. Sometimes we forget to eat, we get busy. We end up like, I did some fasting the other day and I just lost weight so quickly. Like if you want to lose weight, fasting it's so quick to lose weight when you fast. And just drink water when you fast. So I think the consistency is so good. The portion size, like I've discussed, I think sleep is where you repair, your brain repairs. You've got to, if you're injured, you need to sleep. Whatever happens to you in the day, the harder you train, just get enough sleep, have a nap. If you're over 60, 70, have a nap in the day, nothing wrong with that. But just try and get at least 7, 8. Some people need more. Get enough sleep and have a peaceful sleep, because it really does make a difference. If you're tired, you're not going to enjoy gym. You're not going to have headspace. You're going to be frustrated. You can't focus. You can't really be a machine if you're going to be tired and not well fed. It's going to be difficult to do gym when you're tired and not eating right. So sleeping is very important. And then consistency. I think when I get out of my consistent program, I can feel it. So really have that. Every day has a program, and really push that. So once you've developed that program, that routine that you have, and you feel that it covers enough area and it's enough like strength training, then be consistent about it and really try. Even if you go away or if you're don't get out of your routine. It takes so much time to get back, and especially if you have a bit of flu, if you're sick, it's going to take 2-3 weeks to get back to where you were. If you're sick and you fall off the bus, so if you injure your leg, then go and train upper body. If you injure your shoulder, still go and do training. If you're not feeling well, do light weights, do something, but don't just stop for weeks, because it's a slippery slope down, and to climb back and say, oh, I'm going to take a month off or 2 months off. It's too long when you get older. It's going to take too long. So consistency, key. I think they talk about mental health a lot nowadays, and maybe I don't understand it or I need to learn more about it, but like engage in activity. You know, men, they say men over 50, they want peace. They really want peace. You know, you talk about relationships, they want to come home and they want to have peace. Well-being, good friends. No more power struggles with your partner. I think those days are over when you get to 50 plus. You really want to have a peace, and especially as you age. I think we need more peace when we age. Like, do things you enjoy. I sometimes go and sit and watch the sun go down on the patio, and it's just amazing to see the colors and how everything gets peaceful at that time of day. And it's just look in the sky and just find peace. But I think it gets more important maybe when you get older. When you get young, you're just racing all the time. Then number 10, we've got to number 10. Number 10 is regular health checkups. And I go once a year to your urologist. The PSA, once you get to our age, your PSA levels is so important. And my PSA level went a bit high. And I'm sharing this to help other men. My PSA was quite high, and it should be under, like, it should be 4 or 5 or under 5. It went way over that. And when I cut sugar, after the research we did and when we got knowledgeable about this, my PSA level came down. Now, I'm not saying that the doctor said, yeah, it's possible. I know that from experience, maybe it's not for everybody, but before you go and have operations or too many drugs, there's a lot of things that they can do for your PSA, your prostate, before you go and have operations and things like that. So do research. I did it. I found some answers. I found that my PSA level went down with no sugar. Check your cholesterol. The one thing that testosterone levels are very important, because you can lose your testosterone when you're 40, when you're 50. Your testosterone levels start flatlining. You don't really want to train anymore. You just don't have that adrenaline and that strength if your testosterone starts dropping. Then get testosterone replacement. It's not difficult to do. It's an injection. You can have it done maybe once or twice a month. Maybe sometimes they're doing it for longer periods now with the right injections. But I tell you, it makes a difference. So your testosterone level becomes critical. Testosterone, PSA, cholesterol, all those things with your blood work. Go to your doctor, and especially before you start any hectic training or doing whatever, don't follow my advice without getting medical consent. And I'll say that many times, because I've been to my doctors and I'm very cautious about taking the wrong things or the wrong supplements without just telling the doctor, having your blood work checked, keeping it on record. And but yeah, like I say again, testosterone, very important. So look at a supplement maybe. Keep an eye on it. Have maybe one. I try and go once a year for a health check, just to see that everything's okay. And if something's out of balance, then how can you get it back? And that sort of thing. So I think those are the 10 points. Now, next time we'll talk another time about the type of sport you can do, and because there's so many sports out there, but just be careful. I find this year I've been injured quite a bit, and the injuries take longer to heal. So rather, like, do your warm-ups. We found that in some, like, extreme sports, we don't all warm up enough or warm up properly. And that's asking for trouble when you start with a heavier weight than you should and you're not warm, or you start moving too fast when you're not warm. We just see, especially in winter, so rather really do 10, even 15 minutes of warm-up before you go into your main routine, because that is where you pull a muscle, or you train against someone that's too strong for you, which I've done recently. You pull a muscle. You can hurt your leg, you can hurt your shoulder, you can hurt your back, your neck. And it just takes weeks. I remember in the 20s and 30s that you'd heal a few days and you healed. So it's not really an issue. Now, when you get past 50 and 60, the healing process takes so much longer. And even if you are working on your muscle mass, it still takes longer. So be careful. I've got to really watch for injuries now, because it can set you back months, and especially if it's a serious injury. So advice is to protect yourself against injury. There's certain exercises that you can do to really protect your shoulders. But yeah, that maybe we'll talk about it another time, and just some of the experiences I've had in different sports that I've done, and what I feel that helps me, and that sort of age proofs you against certain things. And I think, but think about it. Let me know what sport you do, what works for you, and maybe you could give advice to our listeners or to our viewers on just what are you doing, what works for you. On this show, I just give some advice personally because I've been on this mission in the last so many years. But it's always good to speak to others, and I try and interview as many other people as I can and what they're doing, what's working for them, what's not working for them, what shouldn't you eat. And so I think be strong, my friends out there. Let me know if I can help you. And we need to finish strong in life. And I think if you lose your health, then you've lost everything. Because once your health goes, your strength goes. And once your strength goes, you just lose your capacity. And it's so sad. And we've seen it with a few people where it's just a nightmare. And it doesn't matter. You can be 50, 60, 70, in that age group. Once you're sick and once your blood count drops, or your strength goes, your oxygen drops, you become sedentary. The slippery slope is quick. Like, you stop being mobile, you stop eating right, you just age so fast. And it's just so sad. It's like, really, in there, what do we, this whole show is about looking forward to having a better mindset and looking forward to good things as we get old, and looking forward to packaging our lives in a better way and looking after our finances. But your health is the main pillar. That and honoring God. So just before we wrap up, I found another very good psalm for us just to go through. So I'd like to just read it. Proverbs. So Proverbs 11. Where there is no guidance, a people fall. But in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. And that's why we spoke last time about the networks. Like, get people around you, but good people that honor God. And that have your best intention, and look at where their lives are, and can they pull you up or do they take you down? So I think this is such good counsel, and it comes straight out of Psalms, like who you're putting around you, and get counsel. Like I spoke about the guy I asked him to counsel me on how to think through a framework, and just get the right counsel, because we make so many rash or quick decisions that have lasting impacts on our life. And I've done that. So I've seen, let's think it through, get the right counsel, be patient, and make better decisions. And the impact of that is to have a better life. About next time. So today we did 7 fitness, 8 just a medical checkup, 9 diet. Number 10 and 11 we're going to talk about how to work out of an entity, how to be tax efficient with a company. I've always operated out of a company. We're going to talk a bit about that, and just to get focused in the right place. So that's going to be next time. So otherwise, we honor God. We pray for wisdom every day, find peace, and good chatting to everybody. And we'll talk again in the next week or two. All right.